what I was doing as, you know, I'm going to be this leader and break barriers. It was just, I'm really passionate about this and I want to dance. And I think that's number one, that every child, every dancer, whatever dreams they have, that should be number one for them. To understand that it's so much hard work that's involved, and to be in a career like this, you have to just absolutely love it, because the work is so much more intense than, you know, getting out there and hearing the applause. But it takes a certain type of person, I think, to want to speak up and have a voice and be put in that position where you know you're going to be scrutinized. And that's just something that I felt I needed to do. I was very scared once I really understood how rare it was to see a Black woman make it to the level that I was at in a major ballet company. I thought, I don't know if this is ever going to happen again in my lifetime, if I will ever see a dancer make it in the court of ballet or as a soloist with ABT. So this is my opportunity to speak up and represent African American dancers and share my struggles and open that conversation.
You know, and on that note, I just want to say one of the most amazing people in the film and is here tonight. I just want to give her a special shout out because she's so wonderful, and that is Raven Wilkerson.
Congratulations to all of you on a really beautiful film. A special congratulations to you, Misty, on your Time magazine cover for the 100th anniversary. I would like to know how it feels for you to see the fine arts, particularly in such a diverse way, being represented in the mainstream and popular culture.
Thank you. It's everything that I've wanted. I've been that person where I've just felt so completely isolated, and I've also been that person where I grew up in an atmosphere that was not knowledgeable at all of the ballet world, and people just not understanding what it was, how much hard work went into it, that we're athletes, that it's not easy. We're supposed to make it look easy, but it's a lot of hard work to do that. And so I just wanted to bring more people into it, educate people on what it was. Like, why can't people know about classical ballet the same way they know about football? And so that was something that I felt really passionate about, that I wanted to do. But at this point, with all of the attention that, you know, being on the cover of Time magazine, like, I don't see myself, like, that's ballet. And it makes me so proud.
Misty, to you, I just want to say thank you for being truthful to your core and who you are. When I consider that you didn't have to be as Black as you are. Thank you for that. Nelson, we've known each other.
Is that Barry Mayer?
Yeah, that's
what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up, man? We've known each other for a long time, but most of your work, movies, books, have come out of your background and your interests. I heard you say that you knew nothing about ballet. How did you, once you decided, you know, you met her in a restaurant down the street, how did you prepare yourself to do this film? Considering that you didn't know anything about ballet.
Well, I just felt like she was a great artist and athlete. For me, and I keep using that phrase, I know some people get offended about it, but I feel like I've done documentaries on great athletes, and she is one of them, as well as she's a great artist. So there's a combination that the ballet dancer has that's very unique. They speak through their body. And they speak through their body, not anything, they speak in a very specific code, right? And so, to me, that's like, okay, this is a world of ritual. And so, she's entering the world of ritual, but trying to bring her personality to bear on that. To me, that's a great story. And it's a story about the Black aesthetic intertwined with the Western aesthetic and how those things can work together and somehow they come in conflict. And so for me, that was my point of entry. And just, she's a magnificent subject. I mean, she's a movie star. And so shooting her with a camera is not the hardest thing to do. So when you combine that kind of subject matter and that kind of content with a great star who can carry a film, then I knew this is a story. You know, again, we never knew what the end point would be. There were times it was a completely different ending because the Under Armour was one kind of ending, obviously, but the Swan Lake, that's the ending. And to go from Firebird to Swan Lake in the course, but in the struggle in between those 2 points, to me, that's storytelling. And so, just from a pure storytelling point of view, boom, you can't lose with that. And it's a very compact part of time, even though it seemed like a lot. And so for all those reasons, it was a compelling story to follow through on.
Misty, how did you feel about your very first performance?
It was the first time that I felt alive, and that I had something to say, and people wanted to hear what I had to say. I think that after my first performance was when I knew this is what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. Thank you.
Work of art. We just appreciate it so much. We dancers, you are all artists. It's so vastly talented. And Misty, you are extraordinary. Your beauty is in the heavens. And it makes for us the joy of breathing and living. Thank you so much.
Well, those are 2 impossible acts to follow. So, Misty, you're bringing so many people to ballet, including myself, and I'm sitting here very ignorant about ballet, but sitting here wondering if you are one of the first, if you have a history behind you and one of the few black women to be dancing and as a soloist and hoping to be a principal. Tell us about the young black men in ballet. I'd love to hear about that.
It's been a very different journey for the African American man within the classical ballet world. One of the incredible things about ballet is that the woman is the most important thing, and there are very few careers and art forms where that's how things are. Ballet would not exist without the ballerina. With that said, it's been easier throughout history to put a black man behind a white woman rather than the black woman representing and being the ballet. So because we always need more men in ballet, we're always trying to pull more men in. It's just been a little bit easier for a black man to be accepted into a company. Though their path has not been easy at all, it's been more difficult for a black woman to be given the opportunities that black men have.
Being such a big inspiration as you are, how did you get through all the hardest times that you've ever had? Like which were the biggest moments when you thought you were going to quit? How did you get through that?
I think one of the first times that I really felt lost and I definitely considered quitting. I considered leaving ABT. Arthur Mitchell from Dance Theatre of Harlem had offered me a contract, and I was very tempted. And it was 2 women over here, Victoria Rowell and Susan Failshill, that kind of they came into my life at a time where I really needed that type of support. From someone that I could relate to, someone who looked like me, someone who was successful, and that seemed like it was something that was attainable to me, seeing it through them. Hearing their words of encouragement was a little bit easier for me to relate to and accept because of the people it was coming from. And from there, I just kind of became so open. I was just accepting all of this advice and help, and then all the incredible, amazing brown women came into my life and kind of just kept me on track. So,
I was going to say one of the real important subtexts of the films is mentoring.
yes.
Both from what Misty's described, and also the fact that Misty, both tangibly and as a symbol, is also a mentor. So it's interesting, this whole generational. I think most people would feel that one of the most powerful scenes in the film is Raven and Misty together. And that generational connection is so intense, and it just resonates with us in our bodies when we feel that. And I think that hopefully the film is part of the advocacy, it's part of the mentoring as well in its own way.
I just wanted to add on that note, I just wanted to thank the performers that were just before. It's sort of in the vein of what you were just discussing. So Erica Lal and Nazir Muhammad. Erica is in the American Ballet Theatre Studio Company, and Nazir is in the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis School at American Ballet Theatre. So we really thank them. Just gave a really beautiful performance. So we will continue with the questions.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for educating me tonight and entertaining me tonight, because I feel like the film was definitely education. And then I'd like to say thank you, Ms. Whippleton. That scene with you and Misty was phenomenal. Really touched my heart. Misty, I want to ask you, I didn't see much of family reaction to your success in the film. How's the 5 brothers and sisters, family, and everything reacting to that with so much success coming your way to the family?
This whole journey has been kind of a shock and a learning process for me and my whole family. From the time I entered the ballet world, they have been nothing but supportive, because it was a huge shift for everyone involved. It wasn't just me being affected. I started at 13. I went to live with my ballet teacher when I was 13 years old. I lived with her for 3 years, and my family, they all just kind of were along for the ride, but they were fine with that because they knew it was because that's what I wanted to do with my life. So everyone is still kind of in shock that it's happening, as am I, but they're all there and around and supportive.
Honestly, I've been following you, I think, since you were first on the cover of Discount Dance Supply, which is, for the dancers in the room, they know what that's about. But in any case, I read your book, I really loved it. I felt like there were some parts that probably weren't included in the movie, like when ABT basically told you they rescinded the offer to be Clara and whatnot, things like that. But I guess I'm curious to know, on the topic of mentorship, more about Project Plie, and was that planned to be included in the movie, and what are the next steps for that, and how can people get more involved in that work?
I'm sure Project Plie was mentioned a lot. I don't remember throughout the course of the 3 years, but it's something that...
At the end of the day, especially once we focused on the injury, that thread, that was a human story. So we follow that. Misty's book is out there, and so we decided we can't, what's the point of remaking her? The book is there. We wanted to make a film that could stand on its own outside of the book. So we focused on that 2-year window primarily. The background stuff we kept enough to let you know how she got there, enough to let you know where she came from, but ultimately it wasn't what we wanted to do, because the book exists, it's a bestseller. Most people who know Misty already know that story. For folks of you who are fans of Misty's, we wanted to give you something you haven't seen before.
With Project Plie, it's a diversity initiative that I helped to start with the CEO of American Ballet Theatre, Rachel Moore, and with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, since I'm an alum and I'm an ambassador for their Youth of the Year program. So we kind of brought the two organizations together to try and get ballet to communities that don't have the exposure to it, families that don't have the means to get the training, and just open it up to more people. And Erica Lull is one of my mentees, and so is Nazir, who performed. And she was the first recipient of a Project Plie scholarship. So that's pretty exciting. It's still very new, and we're seeing a lot of diversity coming into the school. And I think that it's definitely sparking change in the future of ballet.
The movie was great and heartfelt, and I loved it to death. But I'd like to know if American Ballet Theatre was supportive of the film, and I didn't see anyone on staff from American Ballet Theatre interviewed. I'm wondering if you tried to have commentary from Kevin McKenzie, the artistic director, and I'd also like to know if your dancing principal roles, why you're still called a soloist.
I think that's you, Misty. We interviewed a lot of folks who didn't end up in the film. I don't know if we talked to Mackenzie, but we kind of thematically didn't want to make it, I mean, from our point of view, an ABT film. It was really about her in a larger cultural context, which is why Brenda, who's a fantastic historian, Deirdre Kelly, who's here, we wanted to make sure that we get, so it wasn't so ABT centric. I didn't want to make a commercial for ABT, in a sense. I wanted to make a film about Misty in the larger sense. So that's why we kind of, at the end of the day, didn't make it so ABT centric. Okay.
I do want to thank ABT. They were very supportive. We were able to shoot in Australia because of Kelly Ryan and ABT allowing us to film their dancers. So they're not featured in the film, but they were very much very, very helpful in allowing us to get some of that beautiful footage that you see on the screen.
ABT has been so extremely supportive of me throughout this entire journey, which didn't need to be that way, but they have been behind me and understand what it is I'm saying and what my message is and what I stand for. In a company like ABT, you are given an opportunity to perform principal roles maybe over the course of a year before you are promoted. And sometimes you aren't. If you don't really have what it takes, you're not consistent enough with all of the opportunities they give you. So kind of at that point right now.
We have time for one or two more. Right over here.
Misty, you're a big inspiration to me, and I was wondering what inspired you to become a dancer?
I probably shouldn't say this, I say it all the time, I say Mariah Carey. I'm gonna switch that to Nadia Comaneci now. It's a combination of the two. I was really shy, I did not speak. There are probably people, if I went back to my elementary school that thought I was mute. I just didn't feel comfortable in my skin, and the only time I felt really at home was when I was at home and music was on and I could move. And I remember seeing this Lifetime film made about Nadia Comaneci, and she was the first person to score a perfect 10 in the Olympics, and watching her, and I thought she was a ballerina. I thought she was dancing. I didn't know what ballet was and what it looked like. I had no exposure to classical music, to dance, other than what I saw on BET and MTV and music videos. So she was kind of the closest thing that I ever saw to what classical dance was, and I think that's when I realized, I really enjoy doing this. So I started choreographing in my room to Mariah Carey, and then I found ballet at 13, and it was like, this is what it is I'm supposed to be doing. Well, I want to thank you all for being here again. It's such a wonderful film, and I want to thank you all for